Keep your arms at your side and close your eyes. Give yourself permission to go into your body and sense what you feel. Without moving, I want you to notice the floor under your feet. Just notice if it feels like you've got more weight on your right foot or your left foot, or if you're noticing a region of either of your feet. Perhaps you're noticing the outside of your left foot or the ball of your right foot, or maybe it's the heel on the left side. Just notice if any region of your foot is calling itself out to you. Then, using your body sense, scan up your legs and notice if you're clenching your thighs or butt cheeks, or if you're locking out your knees. If you feel like you can relax any excess tension, you're now assessing what it feels like when your autopilot is functioning a little inefficiently. You're already working so hard to remain standing. Imagine how hard your body works when you move. I want you to draw your awareness back down to your feet. Even though you know your feet are side by side, notice if it feels like one foot is stepping in front of the other in this standing position. That again is autopilot inefficiency. Now that we've assessed your general position, let's start our foot treatment with position point pressing. I'm going to have you start on your right foot. We'll do it on our left foot so it's easier for you to follow. Now if you need to, watch Pam. She's going to do this seated, so you choose if you'll stand or stay seated to do this entire sequence. Start by stepping right on position point number 1 at the center of your right foot. Once you get the ball there, I want you to put your feet side by side and begin shifting your body weight from your left foot onto the right foot. Do this 5 to 10 times so that you can prepare your body for the compression you're creating, and notice if you feel any pain. If every time you put body weight onto the ball, you feel a sense of pain, remember that's your cue to ease back pressure, not step harder. Also, don't help your autopilot identify where your center of gravity is. Keep your hands off of your hips as you do this compression. Once you find a place where you can create tolerable compression without any pain, I want you to remain standing, and let's help your autopilot reacquire its connection to your center of gravity by moving our joints around our body. Remember, your autopilot kind of functions like a GPS system, so as you start to move your joints around, it helps your autopilot reclaim its connection to your center of gravity by identifying where your other joints are. Come back up to an upright position. Take your left foot and step backward. Let's go to position point number 5, just in front of the heel, and create gentle pressure. Remember, you can either do this by lunging your knee forward or by creating the step forward. Take a nice focused breath into that point. Then ease back half of your weight so that you have evenly distributed weight between your left and right foot, and let's try your glide. Slowly keep your pressure constant and begin gliding the ball back and forth right underneath position point 5. Remember, the secret of a glide is consistent pressure. All you're doing is preparing the connective tissue for the next technique called shearing. So let's continue the glide and slowly work over your heel. You remember the definition of a glide is to keep compression in one small local region of your body, and right now that's your heel. Once you work all the way to the end of your heel, slowly work your way back to position point number 5. When you get the ball back to position point number 5, sustain a tighter compression and create shearing. Remember, this is kind of like a short wiggling motion. Watch how I let my whole leg come with me so that I cause no extra pressure on my knee, my hip, or my back. And remember, you could always do this seated so that you take all of the pressure off of any of your other joints. Once you create that small local compression technique to influence some fluid exchange in the foot itself, you'll compress and wait. Remember, that's the secret of really creating the fluid exchange. Once you create the shear, is just pause for a moment and give the tissue time to adapt. Take a focused breath, and now let's rinse. Start with the ball at the ball of your big toe, position point number 2. Create consistent pressure and let the ball go all the way over your heel, and then just step forward so you take weight off your other leg. Step backward, go to the second number 2 underneath your second toe, and again rinse. Let's keep rinsing from each toe all the way down to the heel so that each toe gets one rinsing motion. And remember, when you get to that pinky toe, make sure that your pressure stays nice and constant all the way down. And just for the heck of it, let's do 2 more rinsing passes anywhere you want underneath the bottom of your foot. Just pick 2 more spots. And then let's try one last technique called friction. This one requires the balance. Standing on your left leg, I want you to very lightly rub the ball underneath the bottom of your foot. Just nice, light, vibrational motion. Just rub the ball right underneath the bottom of your foot. Any random place. Take a nice breath in and exhale. let's reassess. Bring your feet side by side again. Now you might notice that your foot feels different because we were just rolling our foot with a ball, but let's reassess using our body sense. Bring your arms at your side and close your eyes. I want you to notice both of your legs. Forget about your foot for a moment. Draw your awareness up the chain of your leg. Remember, when connective tissue is hydrated, it allows the joints more openness and freedom. So notice your left leg for a moment. You might be really aware that you have an absence of fluid in your hip, your knee, and your ankle because you're aware that you actually have joints in your leg. But on the leg that you melt, ideally it's more open and free feeling. Ideally it feels more grounded and just more rooted to the floor. Open up your eyes. Do you guys feel that fluid exchange? If you feel that fluid exchange, we're already on our way to releasing our low back. Let's try the same thing on your other foot. So you're going to take the ball underneath the center of your left foot. Remember, position point number 1 will always be your starting position. Place your foot on the ball and begin to shift your weight to the right and then gently ease compression into the left foot. Remember what it felt like on the other side. You might notice that this side's even more tender. So just take your time and find tolerable pressure. Remember, pain is your cue. You're going too deep, too fast. Once you find a place where you can tolerably compress the ball without inflicting pain, sustain your pressure, and once again, let's help the autopilot reacquire its connection to your center of gravity by moving your joints anywhere around your body. Take some focused breaths as you create this movement. Then when you're ready, come on back up to a nice upright position, and let's take our right foot and step backward, and let's bring that ball to position point number 5, just in front of your heel. Create that gentle compression right onto the ball, either by just bending your knee forward or creating that consistent pressure straight down. Now ease back half of the pressure so you have even weight distributed to both legs, and let's try your glide. Keep the forefoot on the ground and let that ball go back and forth against position point number 5. So remember, this is kind of like doing the twist. Notice how our toes stay down on the ground rather than having your toes move and the heel stays in place. It's the heel that's swaggering over the ball. Slowly work that ball all the way over your heel until you get to the back side of your heel. Once you get to the back of your heel, slowly work your way back to that position point number 5. And when you get back to position point number 5, tighten the wiggle for the shear. So remember, shearing is like washing your hair. It's like you're increasing the volume of space that fluid can occupy in the connective tissue. This is what's going to create this fluid exchange that we're going to draw throughout the entire body. And remember, once you create a shear force, you wait. Just create gentle pressure. Take a nice focused breath. And now let's rinse from toe to heel. Remember, the secret of a rinse is staying consistent in your pressure and just allowing the ball to stay constantly moving from toe to heel. Step over the ball so that your other hip doesn't get tired. And remember, watch how Pam does this on the chair. It's just about creating that consistent pressure. It doesn't have to be heavy. It's just about the direction. It's always toe to heel. Pick 2 more areas under your foot to create that rinsing pass, and 1 more. And here we go with our friction. Remember, balance on your right leg and very lightly create that light frictional motion underneath the bottom of your foot. Remember, if you only had 1 minute a day to help yourself, I would want you to do friction on one side, take a focused breath, swap sides, go over to your other foot, create the friction again. See if you can do friction 2 times on both sides for about 10 seconds. Let's try it one more time on both feet. Very lightly rubbing your foot. So remember, friction is another way to stimulate some fluid exchange in the superficial layers of your connective tissue. It also stimulates a little bit of natural blood flow throughout the body. Let's try it on the other foot one more time. Take a nice focused breath and then let it go. Let's reassess. Bring your feet side by side. Remember, use body sense, not your common sense of touch or vision. Arms at your side and close your eyes. Using your body sense, tune back into your feet. Notice if now your feet feel more cohesive, if you feel less offset from left to right. Scan up your legs. Notice if your legs feel more relaxed or if you're not locking out your knees. Draw your awareness back down to your feet. If before you felt like you had a staggered leg position, notice if now your feet really feel stable and grounded into the floor. Take a nice focused breath and open your eyes.